Hello, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of The Legacy. I'm your host, Doc Walker. Each week, we take a look back at the rich history of Washington football, combining the old school with the new, with one goal in mind, and that is to win. And boy, are we winning big this week, as we have the 1972 league's most valuable player, running back, Larry Brown. Larry, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Doc?
Well, when I hear your voice, because I'm one of those guys that when you were out in 1972 at the Super Bowl, take on the Miami Dolphins, was in Santa Ana, California, where you guys stayed. You stayed at the Saddleback Inn, and Brig Owens, of course, being from my area, already had us all bought in to the burgundy and gold, and you, in your reckless style of running, love Charlie Harraway. I mean, I call you guys the Bash Brothers because he's a fullback, and we know all that, but you run like a fullback with halfback skills. And I'm going, who in the world inspired you to run as recklessly as you did?
Lombardi. Lombardi played a very important role in that, in my development as a running back. When I first started, I think he put me in the game. The first game was the Saints, 1969, and it was, I think it might have been the regular season game, and I think Henry Dyer or someone else played in my position, and Charlie Harraway or somebody else was at the fullback position. But then, after that first half, he put Charlie Harraway in the game and me in the game, and things changed. The first play I ran, it was horrible. It was horrible. I got chewed out on the sidelines. And then from that day on, from that point on, I made the decision that would never happen again. So I would run as quickly as I developed this slashing running style so I could get to the hole quick enough to determine whether it's going to open up or not. And so I have time to look for another path in order to keep him quiet.
You weren't the biggest guy in the world, but you ran big. And I remember these highlights are so vivid to me. And I think of, wait a minute, Pittsburgh's Hill District is where you grew up. Rough and tough. You playing football on blacktop. And I know you ran the ball like you played tackle football on blacktop with no pads.
I tell everybody that I had to run home like that every night in Pittsburgh. It was a rough area. I survived it. I got through it, and that would be the message I like to share with other people, or especially people of color, that you can do whatever you set your mind to, you can get it done.
It's well noted that Lombardi recognized that you had a hearing impediment, that
right.
You didn't necessarily hear from the right side, and you would move once the lineman moved. And Vince picked this up. But how did you hide that? How did you compensate for that up until that point?
Well, even in college, I didn't bring it up because, I wouldn't bring it up unless somebody brought it up to me, brought it to me. I did not say anything. And when I got to the Redskins, I decided to do the same thing. And when Vince came to me and asked me about it, I told him I was having difficulty recognizing the various alignments. And then I'm sitting in RFK in the locker room, near my locker room, and I see these guys with these long white coats approaching me. I'm saying to myself, what did I do? I'm thinking St. Elizabeth. I'm saying, what did I do to deserve this kind of treatment? But they were there to give me a hearing examination, and that's when they said that they told Lombardi that I had a totally deaf in one ear. So Lombardi got approval from the commissioner to install a hearing aid in my helmet. And then when it was all fixed up and ready to go, he told me to put it on and go to the opposite side of the training room. And he hollered, he said, "Larry, can you hear me?" I said, "Coach, I've never had a problem hearing you."
The Legacy is brought to you by Janet King. Let Janet King get your business back to business. Visit to schedule a disinfecting service today.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna. Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie. The Eagles.
The Drive.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
When was the last time you experienced something different? Dig in to support Black-owned restaurants.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna. Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
Did the hearing have anything to do with ball security?
No, I think, no, it did not. I think that if I had problems, I didn't think I had problems with ball security.
Okay.
But you know, in practice one time, Lombardi did tell me that I fumbled, and he and I told him I did not fumble, and we got butted heads. And then he said you dropped the ball even when you as a receiver. I dropped too many passes. So he just beat up on me so bad. So one day in a game, he had Sonny hand the ball to me a lot, and he had passes thrown at me. I didn't drop the football. I caught everything that was thrown at me. He walked up to me and said, "You're my guy."
I want to go and rewind one more time, take you back to RFK Stadium. The one thing that you and I share is that we played in at least the top three. Two of the top three games that have ever been played in this town. Yours in 72 to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Mine in 82 when we defeated Dallas Cowboys. Both times the winner got to go to the Super Bowl. That night, what do you remember about that night? Because, I mean, everybody talks about the Walt Garrison stop, and it was awesome. Kenny Houston and company, Brig Owens. But for Larry Brown, what sticks out about that night?
I know that night was it was after the game that really excited me and got me all excited about it. It was the people were all, the stands were empty, and they were all on the field after that game. I'd never seen anything like that before, you know? And I said, man, this is great. This is a great feeling. Any game, when you knock off the Dallas Cowboys, is a great game.
Well, speaking of superstars, Larry, if we talk about numbers, you, Brian Mitchell, Pat Fisher, Gary Clark, there are names that are thrown out that are worthy of wearing a gold jacket. And when I've interviewed the great Floyd Little, I've done a lot of work with people in this particular area. When I go, what about Larry? You cut the film on, it tells it all. Again, in your mind, you gotta believe it's possible.
Yeah, I haven't given up on it. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's the greatest honor that one could have leaving in this game, and I'm looking forward to it one day. I think I deserve it. I don't know why it's taken 50 years, away from the game to still seek this honor. I don't know why, but hopefully it'll get done. I know my numbers are. I know they said, like you said, that I didn't play long enough. Gail played less years than I did, and you know, Floyd Little, my numbers are comparable to Floyd Little's, and I don't understand it. I think maybe there should be some more transparency with the voting process, but you know, I don't know.
The Legacy is presented by your local Nissan dealers.
Now it's easier than ever to play the DC Lottery. With iLottery, you can play online anytime.
We all know things are different. Keeping you safe is not. At Innova, we ensure the safety of everyone who comes to us with safe locations, safe supplies, safe cleaning, and safe practices. You're safe at Innova. Get the facts at innova.org/safety.
Our new house is amazing. Great street, huge yard.
There is a bit of an issue with our neighbor's fencing. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save even more.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Peter.
Push it.
What? Find out.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
At Innova, COVID-19 testing of all patients having a procedure or surgery, continuous training of our team members, and thorough cleaning of our facilities are just some of the many ways we work to keep you safe. You're safe at Innova.
Now it's easier than ever to play the DC Lottery. With iLottery, you can play online anytime.
I go 31-43. I can't imagine that Charlie Harroway had to ever pick up a tab around you. Did you ever play with a guy that was more protective?
Oh, he protected me. He still protects me today. Yeah, he was a good soldier. I mean, a good foot soldier, and I mean, he could block. And he was a pretty good running back at Cleveland too.
Yeah.
So he was pretty good. And I'm sure, but he accepted his role when he got here. His role was to block, but he ran also. And he ran pretty good. But he assumed that role and he did it well. I mean, he was a great soldier.
And finally, I got to ask you, because you got a chance, your era, you wore more different helmets than any player that got to play for Washington. You had at least 4 distinctive different helmets. Which one did you like the most?
It doesn't matter. It didn't matter back then, you know, because the helmet was just something to protect your head. So it didn't really matter to me. It's like you ask somebody, what do you want to take into this game? What do you want to fight or use to help you win this fight? I'd say, you know, the helmet protects you. You know, so it didn't matter that much to me.
I love you, man. I appreciate you've always been more than a class act and a gentleman. And for guys in my era, you've always been available, which is the most important trait in life, is availability. And I wish you well. I know you're still battling through pain, man. You're a war horse. Hopefully, man, you can get so you can have at least a few pain-free moments. I think that'd be good.
That would be good. You know, I'm fighting something now, but I'll get through it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll never give up on you. You're always on our team. And for Stevie and for Kyle and for all of us at the Legacy, we want to thank you, MVP, and stay strong.
Okay, man. Thank you for having me on.
You got it. That's Larry Brown, folks. Most valuable player. I'll tell you what, when you say stud as a running back, Larry's photo comes up. That's going to do it for this week. We hope that you will be with us next week as we continue to tap into this rich, glorious history of Washington football. Until then, so long.